female external genitalia. So, as you're all familiar with this, this is the mons pubis. This is a woman lying on her back. Mons pubis is here, and the mons pubis is where the labia majora, the external, the outer labia originate from. So the labia majora are here and here. The clitoris, this is actually the prepuce of the foreskin of the clitoris, the hood of the clitoris, its skin. This is the clitoris itself right here. This is the urethral opening right here. No reproductive function. Starting right at the clitoris, right at the top, the clitoris is right at the top of the inner labia, the labia minora. So that's them. Here. And here. This whole area is called the vestibule, including the vagina, which is here. They have this thing that says hymen torn, but this is the vaginal opening right there. Anus is back here. Got that? Okay, now we've got the internal one. All right, this is again the sagittal view. Kind of get up there a diagrammatic representation of what everything is. All right, going from the back to the front, from posterior to anterior, in terms of orifices, we have the anus, which is coming from the rectum, sigmoid colon, the anus. The next thing moving forward is the vaginal opening right here. That's the vagina. And anterior to the vaginal opening is the urethral orifice, and that's connected to the bladder. So urethra, vagina, anus. Okay, this is the pubic symphysis, the bone. This is the clitoris. I won't ask you that view of it. So the urinary bladder is here. Immediately behind the urinary bladder is the uterus. The uterus is divided up generally into three regions. The top of the uterus, above where these tubes come out, is called the fundus of the uterus. Middle portion is called the body of the uterus, and the bottom of the uterus that projects into the vagina is called the cervix. And the opening, this is the cervical os, OS, it's just the opening into the uterus. Coming out about 2/3 to 3/4 of the way up the uterus, and you can't really see it, is the origin of this tube, which is the uterine tube or fallopian tube. The fallopian tube passes in a direction like this and then hangs over the ovary, which is here. There's no direct connection. There's actually a space between, it's a very small space, between the ovary and the opening to the uterine tube. These little things, little finger-like projections of the end of the uterine tube are called fimbria. So, fimbria, uterine tube, ovary, fundus, body, cervix of the uterus, vagina, urethra, bladder, pubic symphysis, anus. is an atom one of this stuff. Okay, so this is a male atom thing, and it's you know, the same thing that you looked at in the other exam. Again, the other image. This again is the sigmoid rectum, anus, bladder, prostatic urethra, prostate gland here, probably a seminal vesicle there, pendulous or spongy urethra, testicle, epididymis, and the skin is the scrotum. All right, any questions? That's the gross stuff that you need to know. You just need to know that. If you know that, you're good. All right. I'm not going to do a lot of on the practical. There's very little, if any, endocrine gland stuff, which you will be happy to know, because I just can't see any reason for you guys to know a lot of that stuff. I think it's a complete waste. This is a thyroid. So this is all thyroid gland here, and this denser, darker staining part is a parathyroid gland kind of in the middle of it. These are thyroid, all parts of the thyroid, and these are their kind of follicles where the thyroglobulin is the stuff that's made by the thyroid gland is stored. But this is a pretty typical image of the thyroid gland with a parathyroid thrown in. Cells always look different than the parathyroid. This is from your histology. This is a secondary ovarian follicle. Everything, all the slides are going to be labeled, so you'll know for sure what you're looking at. So if it says ovary, don't tell me it's the pituitary gland. Secondary ovarian follicle. So you may remember there's a primary follicle in the development of the egg cell or oocyte or ovum. There's a primary follicle, which we'll look at actually in a minute, and this is a secondary follicle, and this is an actual slide. And it's not that easy to see on your slide either, but the ovum is here. There's a clear layer around the ovum, which is known as the zona pellucida. And then surrounding that, although it's not called this in the secondary, it's called this in the next stage, which I'll show you in a minute, is the corona radiata. But what you're seeing here is the accumulation of fluid in the follicle. The primary follicle has no fluid in it, or no visible fluid. It's just an egg cell surrounded by a couple of 1 layer to 2 layers to 3 layers of cells. That's a primary follicle. In the secondary follicle, you start to see fluid come in, and that fluid is deposited in an area called the antrum. This is not in your slide book, but pay attention to this. And it's really, this is just a better picture. This is...
I have a question. We
Yeah.
only need to know the ones that are syllabus based, right? Like all those ones you just named, but the syllabus only gave us like one.
The syllabus only gave you one.
The primary and stuff on the last one. We have to know like all of them now.
What's the others?
The Zona,